And outsmarting Trump's tariffs, we're going to talk to the boss of one Taiwanese tech giant to find out how it's avoiding the fallout from a trade war between the world's two biggest economies.
You're watching Business Live, our top story. The European Council President has urged America, Russia and China to avert a global trade conflict.
Yes, Chinese leaders and European Union leaders are meeting today, so we'll bring you any news from them as we hear it. But let's move on, because so far more than 1,000 products have been caught up in the trade war between the US and China, with tech firms and manufacturers particularly affected.
Now we're going to look at one company. The new Kinpo group is based in Taiwan. It makes tech goods. It's one of the world's biggest manufacturers of desktop 3D printers. It also makes so-called smart mirrors used in retail stores.
With 42,000 staff around the world and an expected turnover of $6 billion this year, it's a firm which is growing quickly.
Luckily for the company, its sites around the world does mean it's able to move manufacturing or tariffed goods away from China to its other plants in the Philippines, Thailand, Brazil and Mexico.
Well, we have Simon Shen with us, Chief Executive of New Kinpo Group. It's great to have you here with us in the studio. Fascinating, given the times we're in with this trade war kicking off and seemingly getting worse between China and the United States. How is your business affected?
Actually, we are different from the traditional Taiwanese manufacturers, only focusing China. We have more operations in Southeast Asia and also including the Brazil and US. So in my view, actually we are benefiting from this kind of the trade conflict between the US and China.
But you made the shift in 2010.
Yes.
You decided actually we're going to move a lot of our operations out of mainland China. What made you think of doing that then, back in 2010?
Well, at the time, actually, we have a choices going to the inland China and also going to the Southeast Asia, enlarge our traditional manufacturing base in Thailand and the Philippines. So I make a choices, actually, we should enlarge of the Thailand and the Philippines instead of going to inland China, because I can see probably even going, at the time, going to 2010, going to the Chongqing in inland China, cost is lower, but eventually the cost in China are going to come out so quickly. Eventually we'll catch up in the Southeast Asia. So we need to move again. So at the time I decide really we're going to Southeast Asia instead of the inland China.
So mainland China, it's no longer obviously a cheap manufacturing place.
Correct.
What kind of manufacturing place is it now? Is it a high-tech manufacturing base? What kind of, how would you characterize it?
Yes, actually right now, because the labor cost right now in China is actually much higher than Southeast Asia. So we are converting what traditional low value added of the manufacturing in China, going to the more higher scale operations, like semiconductor, like the other sophisticated, complicated the products manufactured in China.
But do you still need to be in China, because there are certain things which your Chinese manufacturing plants will... Do you do R&D there, or is that...
Yes, we do have R&D centers in China. Actually, we converted for China SKU, so the product need to sort in China, we manufacture in China. And some of the highly complicated manufacturing still need in China. And some of because the supply chain still in China, we need to stay in China.
But that could get affected by tariffs.
Some of them, yes. So we have, right now we consider what kind of product we need to remain in China, what kind we should go into US, what kind of product we need to go into the South Asia more, in the Philippines or Thailand.
Now, you're involved in all sorts of technology.
Yes.
You're a maker and a creator of lots of tech products like smart mirrors we've mentioned,
yes,
and 3D printing and that, yes, kind of thing. Where do you see technology going? You know, what's going to be the next big thing as all these players around the world try and come up with the next innovation?
Yes, everybody compete in the AI. Everybody compete in the big data business, right? Semiconductor design.
So artificial intelligence.
Correct. So everybody knows this is the direction to go. So same like the other company. Our company, we do a lot of investment in the AI technology. So we have a different manufacturing center, not only for manufacturing, but also for R&D. So we have more than 2,500 engineers worldwide, and some are in US, some in Singapore, some are in Taiwan, some in China, to utilize the different talents.
Can I ask just one more question about trade flows?
Yes.
Do you think that in the future or in the coming months, if this trade war, the dispute between China and the US continues, that you will see more of your business, more of your factories, more of your interests being in Europe rather than the US? I mean, this is what we were talking